Hello, and welcome to the Soul of Innovation podcast. I am the host, Thomas Anglero, and my mission for this podcast is to share with you those private thoughts and reflections that I have being one of the top keynote speakers around the world on technology, motivation, and innovation. I hope you truly enjoy all the lessons I share, all the dots I connect that sometimes are just really difficult to get out, but it's all for you. I truly hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Soul of Innovation podcast. I am Thomas Anglero, and I am pumped up in a good mood, full of energy this early morning. And that's because I have accepted the challenge that life is going to be hard as hell. That life is going to throw at me things that I don't want it to throw at me when I don't want it to throw at me and when I'm not in the mood for it. And it's going to be a challenge that's bigger than I could ever have foreseen. And yet it's exactly what I need. Have you ever seen that in your life before? That something happens to you right when you don't need it to happen to you. And then after you go through it, after you accept it, after you conquered it, you look back, and that's called reflecting. You look back and you reflect, and you say like, that's exactly what I needed. I remember when I first came to Norway. For the first year, at least, it was actually 18 months, could not get a job. Would go to interviews and people would turn me away because of many different reasons. But we won't get into that now. And I found one job coaching a basketball team for a club here in Oslo. And one of the mothers, her name is Karen, she asked me how I was doing. I told her I was struggling, couldn't get anything. She actually talked to a friend of hers who was married to one of Norway's wealthiest men. And this friend of hers, she needed someone to help her with her computer skills and internet. And so I actually got a part-time job in the evening teaching this woman all about the internet, how to buy books online. This is going back way long time ago when it was really new. Today is a joke to do that. But that led to me to meet her husband, who I didn't know he was Norway's wealthiest man. He just was a very nice man. And it helped me to build up my confidence talking to business people. And that was exactly what I needed when I needed it at a time when I was completely down and I was completely crushed. Life throws at you what you need when you need at it. Now, that's a very soft story. I mean, there are examples of people being thrown at impossible challenges, right? And I'm sure you got your own. But let me tell you, it is what you need. And you have to conquer it. You have to step up and kick his damn ass. All right? You have to. Here's another soft, stupid story, but I'm doing soft story because I'm in a good mood. I don't feel like crushing this thing on a hard mood this morning. Nobody's in the mood for that right now. I'm not in the mood for that right now. This past weekend, I went on for a long bike ride. I don't know, 77 kilometers, whatever that's, in about 50 miles, right? And up in the mountains, going up and down mountain trails in the middle of nowhere on these deserted trails, and I got a damn flat. Now, I've never gotten a flat biking before. This is the horror show of all horror shows. I've seen enough YouTube videos. I know how to change a flat, but I am in the middle of nowhere. I am walking distance 3.5 miles from any nearest city or town, okay? I am in the nowhere of nowhere. Anyway, I start changing my flat tire, and hopefully I'm doing this damn thing right, nervous as hell. And this guy comes out the woods, and as I look towards the sound, I see that there's a house in the distance. This guy walked from his house to me, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's neighborly. You know, somebody come and check on me. He could help me out probably. And the guy stands there, and he goes, got a flat tire? And I'm like, yeah. And he stands there, is watching me. Come from far away? I'm like, coming from Oslo, which he knows is a couple hours away. At least by bike. And he goes, uh-huh. And then he walks away. What the hell was that? I was like, not even keep the conversation going? And as I keep changing my tires, I'm like, that was kind of strange. And the guy he came to check me out because in his cabin that I could see in the distance, he was with his girlfriend who barely had any clothes on. And I guess there was a retreat away. And he was not believing that I was there as a coincidence. Maybe I was going to meet with her. I don't know. But he went in his protective stance. It was hysterical. The point of that story is that sometimes you think life is going to throw someone at you and say, hey, help you out, change a tire, help you out when you need it. Maybe this guy's also a biker. No, he came to protect his woman or his property or something. And I laughed it off. How would you have handled that? How would you have handled it? Would you have only dwelled in the fact that this guy came to protect his woman, He came maybe to attack you because he's thinking that you're the wrong skin color. Maybe if you didn't know that part of the story, that's part of the story. How have you handled it? I blew it off. Not a big story, not a big thing. How do you handle anything that happens in your life? How do you see it when it happens? What is your perspective? Right? What is as I said in the last episode, the last podcast, what's the script that you play in your head? We have all sorts of things that we play in our heads when we meet people, right? You see somebody coming to you who's very tall. You will make an assumption. Oh, he must be, or she must be a basketball player or a volleyball player if it's a woman, right? There's not that many women balling. There's more, thank God, right? Here comes a person who's of Asian descent. You make an assumption. A person who's colored, you make an assumption. A person who's white, you make an assumption. Making no assumption, maybe. That's an assumption. By not making an assumption, you're making an assumption. What is it you think about? I always think to myself that if we all were blind, would we be as bad and bigots and prejudiced as we would be to each other today? And that would be based on sound? That everybody in the world would be prejudiced, or I don't know what the word prejudice would be correct, would be judgmental because certain people have lisp and other people have certain dialect, and we would all segregate ourselves based on the way we talk? It's all bullcrap, this whole thing. But we as human beings, we're judging all the time. How do you handle your moments? Today, as you go to work or you come home from work or you're going to wherever you're going, how do you handle your moment? How do you handle your moment? It's all on you. The only thing I can say is I handle my moments when I'm after I've eaten. I handle my moments much, much better. I'll be honest. But if I'm starving, every moment sucks. But, that's just life, and that's just the way it is. I hate being hungry. But don't go hungry anymore. So that's a beautiful thing. Listen, I love you all. An upbeat podcast to just a question. How do you handle your moments? What is that thought that pops to your head? Why does that pop into your head? Is it a positive thought? Is it a negative thought? When I lived in New York City, for as much as people talk about New York, I didn't have any negative things within the street. I felt so damn comfortable. I still do. It's an amazing thing. But yet when I walk in Oslo, I know I'm not going to be killed in Oslo. I know I'll be killed in New York, but that's not what I worry about in New York. It's interesting, isn't it? New York, I'm more comfortable with the people than I am in Oslo. It's a very interesting thing. It's all about the story. It's all about what you tell yourself in your head. I think that's real interesting. What do you tell yourself in your head all the time? When you're at your cubicle in your office? When you're taking the bus or you're driving? What is it that you're talking in your head? I think you need to spend time thinking about that. Because life will throw something at you. And if you're not ready for it, that thing you're talking in your head, that's going to really hurt you. But remember, life only throws at you what you need to change that thing that's in your head. Got it? Beautiful. Done. Love you all. Have an amazing day. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful life until the next time we talk. Go forth and spread beauty and light. Love you. Till next time. Thank you for listening to that episode. If you want to contact me, you can contact me on my website at englero.com, and you can also subscribe to the newsletter, or you can find me anywhere on social media with Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you so much, and I hope to hear from you very soon.